Time Warner Cable is pleased to be an underwriting sponsor for Carolina Week.
Coming up, it's the 233rd edition of Good versus Evil.
Welcome to the jungle. Presidential politics invades the southern part of heaven.
In sports, we'll see what it's like to go to a school where your father is a legend.
And these four took a stand by sitting down and made the history books. Carolina Week starts right now.
From the James F. Goodman Studio in the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, connecting campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
He's ramming, he's jamming, and he's slamming. There it goes. Ram, jam, slam, bam! You serious?
The Battle of the Blues, the most intense rivalry in college sports. Good evening, I'm Preston Jones.
And I'm Kathleen Whitty. Every religion has its devil, and ours is blue, Duke blue. Tonight, the nation will be watching as Carolina takes on Duke for the 233rd time. We have a series of reports tonight. First, after we win, and we will win, what's going to happen? Well, we'll all be rushing to Franklin Street to celebrate. Patrick Wright joins us in the Reese Digital Newsroom with more. Patrick?
Kathleen. Well, I don't want to jinx it or anything, but in the event we do win tonight, police say they can expect anywhere from 2,000 to 4,000 people to rush Franklin Street. And Chapel Hill police want to make sure you know a few things before you head out tonight. Now, alcohol, paint, weapons, and flammable items will not be allowed on Franklin Street. And Lieutenant Kevin Gunter says one major concern is students starting bonfires.
Part of the concerns with bonfires, we have had some people injured in the past trying to jump over the bonfires and those types of things. So if we feel like we can get in safely and extinguish them, we will.
Now, overall, Gunter says the department has handled these situations before, and they don't expect any major issues tonight.
So what time will Franklin Street open back up for traffic?
Well, police haven't set a specific time to reopen the road, Kathleen, but they say the celebration typically lasts about an hour.
Thanks, Pat, and I'll see you out on Franklin Street.
Let's hope so.
It's always fun to beat Duke. Why? Well, because we simply just hate them. Carolina Week reporter Caitlin Yannick took her camera to the pit to find out why.
Because they're pretentious fools. Because I have a soul. They're too full of themselves, and it's just a fun rivalry to watch.
Because they're ugly?
Coach K looks like a rat. And for UNC seniors who entered the lottery for tonight's game, your ticket notification email might have been a little confusing. Last week, there was a glitch in the computer program that distributes the tickets. Some students received 3 emails, the first saying they've received a ticket, the next saying they didn't, and a final confirmation email apologizing for the mix-up. And if you didn't get a ticket for tonight, you can always try the standby line, which should be opening in the next hour.
Tonight's matchup against the Blue Devils inspires fans to do all sorts of things: paint their bodies, wear Carolina blue, and rush Franklin Street. But for one UNC student, Carolina basketball inspires art. Aaron Holcomb introduces us to a rapper who turns this legacy into music.
Marcus Ginyard is going to go out and join them as well. Of course, Marcus.
If you weren't a student in 2009, you might not feel as connected with Carolina basketball as UNC senior Ricky McMahon. But you might have heard his song around campus this week.
It all started with a win in 1910.
Chapel Hill native McMahon wrote, edited, and produced a song highlighting our 6 national championship wins.
Carolina basketball it's more than just basketball. It's a legacy. There's a history behind it.
So the name of McMahon's song comes as no surprise.
I really wanted to make a song that would capture all of that in 4 minutes, so that someone who just moved to Chapel Hill or someone who just got into Carolina could listen to this song and really get the whole picture of what Carolina basketball is all about and the whole legacy behind it.
The banners above me are the reminders of hard work and history. But here's a preview of the song that captures each moment in just 4 minutes.
So they laced up, they faced up, they battled it out. We fought hard, but they fought back no matter amount. Not till the clock struck did we finally shout that NCU.
McMahon's video debuted today. If you're one of the lucky ones who received a ticket for tonight, keep your ears open. In Chapel Hill, I'm Erin Holcomb, Carolina Week.
As soon as the game's over, it's a pretty good bet the talk will return to tuition and just how much it's going up. The Board of Governors will be deciding Thursday among the many plans on the table. Student body president Mary Cooper is staying busy.
The last thing that I think I can do, and that's making phone calls to every member of the Board of Governors supporting President Ross's plan.
Cooper's encouraging students to make their voices heard. UNC System President Tom Ross is calling for a 9.9% tuition hike. Another plan considered would raise tuition by more than 11%.
If we don't raise tuition right now, a lot, all hell's breaking loose. Come on! We will not accept that kind of apocalyptic language.
A voice they'll bring to the BOG meeting in a familiar fashion. Like last year, the plan is for students to meet right here in the pit Friday morning, walk down South Road chanting and carrying signs, then arrive here at the Spengler Center where they hope to meet with the Board of Governors. Cooper and Ross met with students last week to discuss the increases. Ross's plan would raise tuition by about $600, $100 less than what the university proposed. For now, Ross says transparency between the board and students is crucial.
So I love the opportunity to talk to students. I think it's important that they have an opportunity to be heard.
And Cooper says she's done all she can. The rest is up to students.
Provided avenues for them, told them how they can be engaged, as well as reached out and in my capacity as representing them, voiced my opinion about what I think is the best plan for them.
It's important to note Ross's plan is a 2-year plan, so the board cannot ask for more money from students this time next year. We'll continue to follow the story.
Chancellor Holmthorpe is saying no tonight on that gender-neutral housing proposal, at least for right now. Supporters of the proposal say gender-neutral housing would create a safer environment for LGBTQ students in residence halls. Thorpe says he isn't opposed to members of the same sex living together, but he's concerned the proposal hasn't been adequately explained to stakeholders off campus. Currently, no universities in the UNC system have gender nonspecific housing. And this fall, that same chancellor will find himself back in the classroom. Thorpe will co-teach a multidisciplinary entrepreneurship course. This class will seat 400 students.
This time next week, we may know who will be the next student body president.
Vote for Tim for student body president!
With only 6 days until the election, campaign teams are taking over the pit. Candidates are using signs and shouts to catch students' attention. There will be 3 names on the ballot for SVP, and even more are vying for votes as write-in candidates. For more election coverage, check out our partner, reesenews.org, for candidate profiles. And next Tuesday night, be sure to tune into Carolina Week for all your live election coverage. As student body elections come to a close, other campus organizations are ramping up their campaigns for the presidential election in November, and we're a campus divided. Ross Maloney has more with our Campaign Watch
Whether you're a donkey,
report.
an elephant, or something in between, welcome to the jungle. Get ready for a tough and brutal election season, says Young Democrats Vice President Lauren Hovis. First on the list for YD, tapping into the fervor that carried Democrats to victory in 2008.
We had all of this hope and all of this passion that went into 2008, and I feel like that's died a little bit. I think we need this rejuvenation for this election.
To reignite that spark, the Young Democrats are hoping to bring the president himself to speak on campus this fall. Hovis says she isn't scared by any of Obama's contenders thus far.
No, I'm not afraid. This is me personally, but no, I think Obama can do it. Definitely. He's got it.
In 2008, Obama was the first Democrat to win North Carolina since Jimmy Carter in 1976. But it's still very much a swing state, says College Republicans Chairman Greg Steele.
When it came down to just 14,000 votes in 2008, when people were pretty disheartened with the Republican Party, I think we've got a great shot. I think North Carolina is absolutely going to go to the right again.
Steele says his party's biggest problem right now is figuring out who its candidate will be. Just like the nation, Republicans at UNC are divided among the 4 remaining candidates, a fight that could continue through the NC primary.
I mean, we don't have the benefit of being in Iowa or New Hampshire or South Carolina, and so usually it's pretty decided by May, but this could be a different situation.
One of those 4 is Congressman Ron Paul, a dark horse Republican, but a darling among some college students, including UNC's newly formed Youth for Ron Paul.
He really has cross-party appeal, which is part of the reason why I support him, because I think he has the best chance out of any of the 4 candidates to actually win the general election.
With 3 months to the primary, anything could happen. But at this point, we know one thing with no margin of error. It's going to be a crowded pit this spring. In Chapel Hill, I'm Ross Maloney, Carolina Week.
A UNC wrestler was arrested early this morning for resisting arrest. Police say Corey Mock was involved in a fight involving several others and tried to flee the scene when police showed up. Mock is the son of head wrestling coach C.D. Mock. The younger Mock was released pending a court appearance. Officials with the athletics department say Mock is suspended. 3 other students connected with the athletics department in trouble with the police, facing possession of cocaine charges tonight. They were arrested on top of Wallace parking deck on Rosemary Street. Police say they seized a plastic bag with cocaine residue and a straw used to snort the cocaine. All 3 charged are former varsity athletes at the university. Right here, Shane Malarkey is a former UNC linebacker and is the son of Mike Malarkey, the new Jacksonville Jaguars head coach. Jacob Grosjean was a walk-on quarterback for the football team and served as team manager until last December. And Nicole Suarez is a former member of the UNC women's cross-country team. Now each is charged with a felony possession of cocaine and trespassing, but Malarkey and Grosjean are also charged with possession of drug paraphernalia. Malarkey, Grosjean, and Suarez went before a magistrate last week and were released on $1,000 unsecured bonds. Malarkey and Grosjean's next court date is Monday. Suarez's will be later this month.
Occupy Chapel Hill may be dying down, but local protesters are still causing a scene. They're calling themselves the Carborough Commune, and last weekend they tried to take over this building. You can see the spray paint right there on the doors. There are plans underway to turn it into a CVS, but protesters have shown they will do anything to stop it. Saturday night, the Carborough mayor and police escorted the group out of the building after they took over the inside. Sunday night set the scene for a more passive gathering where they discussed other possible options for the building.
And coming up, find out how these 4 college freshmen changed the world more than 50 years ago.
The 9/11 memorial is for my 343 brothers who didn't make it.
And for my brother.
This shows the world that we can rebuild.
And that we are strong.
It's for the heroes like my dad.
This year, the National September 11th Memorial opens in New York City. Join us to honor, remember, and reunite. To learn more or to reserve your visit, go to 911memorial.org.
52 years ago, segregation was just a part of everyday life in Greensboro and almost everywhere else across the South. But that changed when 4 young men decided to take a stand by sitting down.
In celebration of Black History Month, UNC's Carolina Union Activities Board invited General Joseph McNeil and Dr. Franklin McCain of the Greensboro Four to share their story. Reporter Danielle Elliott has more.
In 1960, General Joseph McNeil was a 17-year-old college freshman, but he was ready to make a difference.
Some things in life might be worth giving your life for.
North Carolina A&T students Joseph McNeil, Eziel Blair Jr., Franklin McCain, and David Richmond sat down at a whites-only lunch counter at Woolworth's in Greensboro, North Carolina. They were refused service.
I distinctly remember ordering coffee and apple pie.
The sit-in at Woolworth's lasted a week, but the idea of nonviolent protests against segregation quickly spread throughout the country.
There was a sense of urgency. If not us, who?
McNeil's good friend was now Dr. Franklin McCain. McCain knew there would be consequences for challenging the law.
When you're trying to make any kind of change, you're going to upset some people.
And 52 years later, as the men come together to travel the country, sharing their story, McCain leaves audiences with a simple piece of advice.
The dream is big enough. The facts don't matter. What looked like very innocent, unassuming acts of sitting on a lunch counter, being transformative in nature.
And the impact of the legacy of the Greensboro Four lives on. North Carolina A&T has erected statues in honor of the men's bravery, and the site of the sit-in is now home to the International Civil Rights Center and Museum.
I felt proud of myself for no longer just sitting on the sideline talking about the problem.
Instead, this helped solve it. In Chapel Hill, I'm Danielle Elliott, Carolina Week.
David Richmond passed away in 1990, and Jabril Kazan, formerly Eziel Blair Jr., did not attend the lecture. Woolworths integrated their lunch counter in Greensboro 6 months after the nonviolent sit-in.
The town of Chapel Hill also recognized one of the civil rights movement's key players with a dramatic flair. Chapel Hill Transit employees honored the life of Rosa Parks through a play at University Mall. The actors recreated the day that Parks refused to give up her bus seat to a white man and went to jail for it 56 years ago. The singing and performance were met with standing ovations and celebration.
Lillian Chasen was only a freshman at Carolina when she died from H1N1 complications in December 2 years ago. But her life and impact on the university is being honored. The Department of Dramatic Arts has created the Lillian Chasen Undergraduate Excellence Fund. The fund will support undergraduate arts endeavors, including a Lillian's Theater Arts Weekend and participation in national conferences and competitions.
Having a little trouble finding just what you need at UNC? Well, a new website just launched. That's UNC's very own Craigslist. It's called RamSwap, and it's Carolina's personal website for classifieds. With just a click of a button, students can buy and sell books and electronics, list and search for local jobs, and buy tickets to sporting events. And with RamSwap's Lost and Found page, students might have a better chance of finding those lost belongings.
And with that website, I'm sure you'll have to pay for what you want, but as college students, we all try to save as much money as we can.
We sure do. Whether it's a new outfit for a party or a meal at a nice restaurant, we all like to have a little something in our pockets. But reporter Tyler Ford has the story of a student who takes saving to an entirely different level.
UNC senior Will Thomason is on a mission. He's determined to not pay for food for the entire school year.
The reason why I'm doing it, which is to really advocate against food waste and for kind of smart spending.
The Cary native says he decided to eat free after a friend recommended the book American Wasteland. He realized how much food Americans, including college students, waste.
Just so much of food, whether it be in Lenore or in other places, that's being wasted.
Thomason says he has not paid for a meal since August. To get his food, Thomason joined a job search listserv that sends emails every week with a list of events with free dinners. He loves it because he can eat free and get information about future job opportunities.
Just by being part of this network of people who see where there's food, I can talk to people about potential jobs or just find out more information.
Thomason's roommate, Garen Abbott, says Thomason's eating tactics are not for the faint of heart.
If like bread or something is like molded or gone bad, he'll just, break off little pieces of it that look bad and eat the rest of it and just things like that.
Thomason says he eats healthier now that he doesn't buy food because he eats what everybody won't.
Now, most of the food that gets wasted, if you go to an event, everybody eats the pizza, nobody eats the broccoli and the carrots and all that kind of stuff.
Thompson hopes that his accomplishment will not only make others aware of how much food they waste, but also how much we all take for granted. In Chapel Hill, I'm Tyler Ford, Carolina Week.
Now, you might remember Thomason from last semester when he was ousted from the a cappella group Psalm 100 for his beliefs about homosexuality.
All right, coming up next in weather, we'll tell you how you should dress for the big game tonight.
Clean kitchen surfaces, utensils, and hands with soapy water. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
If I had asked, if I try meth, will I become an addict? Or can you really lose it on meth? Or if I'd asked, will meth become the only thing I care about? I wouldn't be asking.
All right, can you load me up again?
Welcome back to Carolina Week. I'm meteorologist Katherine Thompson. Now, has anyone seen these type of flowers out recently? These are wild daffodils, or what we like to call buttercups, sometimes incorrectly where I'm from. But these are actually usually bloom in March, but they've been blooming in early February. That just shows you what kind of mild winter we've had. We haven't had a snowflake in sight around here yet, but we do have some colder Canadian air on the way. Will that bring us any chances of wintry precipitation? we'll have to take a look at that. As you can see for right now on our satellite image, sorry if I'm clicking the button a little bit there, we do have some cloud cover over North Carolina right now. These are just stratus clouds that they're just going to push out of our area and continue to dissipate over the next few days because we do have high pressure that's going to be moving in and taking over for us. By Friday, this high pressure will be definitely in place. And with high pressure, you get sinking air, and that prevents clouds from forming. So that's why we won't be getting any rain, and we'll have clearer weather and also a little bit of a spike in temperatures on Friday. But for tonight, 33 degrees, partly cloudy out there. You might want to grab a jacket, especially if you're heading out to the game. And by tomorrow, we'll be back up to 58 degrees, partly cloudy skies, a little bit warmer than we were today, again, due to that high pressure moving in. If you're heading off to the Battle of the Blues tonight at the Dean Dome, the Duke plays Carolina, of course, at 9 o'clock tonight. 44 degrees at 7 o'clock as you're heading out, getting dinner and stuff like that. So make sure you have a jacket. Temperatures will continue to drop going into tonight, 39 degrees by post-game time. Again, no clouds in the area that will continue to move out, so you won't have to worry about anything of that nature. Now, checking out our 5-day forecast, as you can see here, on Thursday we'll have a high pressure system again moving in, and by Friday that high pressure system will begin to take over. We'll be up to 58 degrees on Friday, our last mild day before things change for us. We have a cold front system that's going to start moving in, or it's off to the northeast, going to start churning up some Canadian air for us and sending it back down. And so we'll be down to 49 on Saturday, 43 on Sunday, and by Monday we'll be back up to 50.
So Catherine, tonight I think I'm going to be in line for the Duke game. For about a couple hours I have phase 4 tickets, so not that great. How should I dress? Should I be pretty bundled up?
Make sure you just have a jacket on. It is going to get pretty cold tonight, down below freezing, especially when you're leaving the game. That's when you really want to be prepared.
So when I'm rushing up to Franklin Street,
right, exactly.
I should have that fleece on. Well, great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Up next, sports will break down the biggest matchup in college basketball, Duke, Carolina. Next.
Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. Go to discovertheforest.org.
When some people struggle with their mortgage payments, they become frozen, petrified. Not knowing what to do, they do nothing. But the people who take action are far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making home affordable is a free government program. Call now to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about the options that are right for you. Real help, real answers, right now.
Welcome back to Carolina Week. I'm Andy Reeves. Tonight is the rivalry, Duke and North Carolina. Clint Hanna joins us live in the studio to break it all down. Clint, what should fans expect out of tonight's game?
Andy, fans should be prepared for scoring, and lots of it. The Heels lead the nation in scoring with roughly 84 points per game, but the Devils may have the firepower to match it. They're 11th in the nation in scoring at just under 80 points a game. Look for both teams to score and score a lot.
Well, Clint, on an individual level, who's going to be important and play a key role tonight for the Heels and the Blue Devils?
Andy, for Duke, it'll all come down to junior Mason Plumlee. Plumlee actually didn't score when the Blue Devils came to Chapel Hill a season ago, but he is Duke's best post player this season, averaging nearly 12 points and 10 rebounds per game. And Plumlee played better in road games this season, averaging just more than 14 points a game. And for the Tar Heels, sophomore Harrison Barnes' sprained ankle will be the key. He played with this injury in the Heels' last game against Maryland and scored 18 points. Barnes leads the Heels in scoring at more than 17 points per game this season. And another important aspect, Andy, Duke doesn't have quite the length to guard the 6'8" Barnes. he should be about 4 inches taller than just about anybody they match up to guard him.
Well, that should be a matchup advantage for the Heels all night long. That was Clint Hanna live in the studio. Thanks, Clint. Well, Carolina will try to repeat some of its past performances tonight, like those of Michael Jordan, Tyler Hansbrough, or Phil Ford. Reporter Mark Griffin has the story of why that last name has special meaning to one UNC senior.
Tyler Ford is a senior at UNC, and she has lived in and around Chapel Hill for most of her life. Like many students here, she has bled Carolina blue since before she came to college.
My earliest memories are sitting up in the box at the basketball games with like a cheerleading outfit on, cheering for UNC. It's just been a part of me.
But unlike most UNC students, her father is a part of Carolina basketball history. Her father, Phil Ford, is arguably the greatest player to have come to UNC. He graduated as the all-time leader at UNC in both points and assists. He is widely credited as being the master of the four corners offense. He was selected to the All-America First Team in 1976, 77, and 78, and he was a consensus National Player of the Year his senior season. Phil passed on some of his athletic ability to Tyler. She ran track her first 3 years as a Tar Heel, but she's never felt that she had to live up to her father's legacy.
I've never really felt any pressure from really anything that has to do with him.
Tyler says she doesn't like to advertise her connection to basketball royalty, even though some people may not realize what she is telling them.
I mean, he's like older now, so most people are like, oh, kudos. My dad's name is Bill. Cool.
Tyler's father said he didn't influence her when she was making her college decision.
I let her know that wherever she went to school, she would have my support.
Both father and daughter enjoy being a part of UNC, but Tyler thinks Phil may have had a more memorable time.
Yeah, I think his 4 years were a little bit more fun than my 4 years, though.
If her time at UNC was half as exciting as her dad's, coming to UNC will have been 4 years well spent. In Chapel Hill, I'm Mark Griffin, Carolina Week.
Well, guys, I was able to go to the Duke-Carolina game last year at the Smith Center. I was able to sit courtside as well. The energy in there was just incredible. And if that game is half as good as this one, I think we'll all be rushing Franklin Street after the game.
You're right, Andy. I was there too, cheering on the Heels, and those are the best seats in the house.
Absolutely. It was great to be there.
All right, Andy, thank you. Coming up, we'll show you how the Carolina-Duke rivalry makes a splash.
If you have a story idea, call Carolina Week at 919-843-8292 or email us at carolinaweek@unc.edu. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNC-CH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina 27599. Be sure to check out Carolina Week and Carolina Connection online at carolinaweek.org.
You realize that 49 million Americans struggle with hunger? That's 1 out of every 6 Americans.
These people are around us every day. They're our friends, they're our coworkers, their kids go to school with our kids.
Sometimes we're not even aware that they're struggling. This problem is closer than you think, but so is the solution.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
The pain will not control us. It will never break us, define us, or keep us still. Because arthritis can't beat us if we beat it first. In the fight against arthritis, you need a weapon. What's yours? Visit the Arthritis Foundation at fightarthritispain.org.
Well, there's always a lot of trash talk going on between Duke and UNC fans on game day. I know I'm guilty. And Preston, how would you like to nail a Dookie with a water balloon?
Kathleen, that sounds like a lot of fun, and some UNC students got that chance. The sounds of a Dookie in pain filled the air as UNC students threw water balloons at one for a good cause. Participants paid $1 for the chance, and the proceeds are going to UNC Relay for Life. Those who hit him won prizes such as T-shirts and wristbands. Now, actually, the Dookie was a UNC student dressed up as a Duke student, but the participants seemed to enjoy it just the same. And, I saw them in the pit today. They were actually, you could pay $2 and pie a Dookie in the face, but it might have been a real Duke student. So,
how did I miss that? And also, what Duke student would sign up for that?
Coming over here to make a little extra cash, maybe.
Well, that does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks for watching. Good night.